And now we are going to continue our spring position preview. Last week touched on the running backs and the wide receivers. We're going to continue on the offensive side of the ball today, starting with the quarterback position. All right, there you have it. A lot different from last year's situation where we still weren't sure at the time who was going to be the starter. It is evident that the clear starter here is Carson Beck. Got the opportunity to see QB2 Gunnar Stockton in the Orange Bowl, and then you have newcomer Ryan Puglisi. I think when you take a look at this graphic right here, the big thing that stands out is there's not a fourth. Is that something that we could see change when the transfer portal opens back up here in a few weeks, Connor?
I think so. I think you saw Georgia try and address this in the January window when Jaden Maeva's name was briefly connected to Georgia, briefly committed to the program before ultimately signing with USC. Kirby Smart has gone on record and said he would like to be at 4 scholarship quarterbacks. I think the problem is finding who that fourth guy might be when you have such an established starting quarterback in Carson Beck and you have a guy in Gunnar Stockton who maybe has not fully established himself as the backup quarterback for Georgia, but as a guy that I think has the ability to do so and is someone who is beloved by teammates there. Obviously, a lot of eyes are going to be on Puglisi, him coming in, one of the real fan favorites of this last recruiting cycle. His head's going to be swimming. He's going to be trying to get, into the flow of practice. Has already done a little bit of that during the bowl practices, as you see on video here. But the big story with this quarterback position, it's Carson Beck. How much better can he get? How much chemistry can he develop with these wide receivers? As we touched on last week, 3 newcomers from the transfer portal there. So how does Carson Beck continue to improve? Where last year, I think he was maybe a little bit more willing to lean on guys like Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. And going into 2024, Georgia's going to need Carson Beck to be the best player on this offense.
And he's definitely going to – he was the leader last year, but I think you – hit it right that how much better can he really get? Have we even seen his best football? He is the clear QB1, the clear leader on this team, and I think that he came back for a reason to be able to prove all of those things. But I'm also interested in the backups. How much separation is there or could there potentially be between Gunnar Stockton, who seems like the obvious backup, but is there a chance that Ryan Puglisi could have a stellar spring season and potentially close that gap?
I'd be pretty surprised if that happens. This is going to be Gunnar Stockton's 3rd year in the program at Georgia. And it's a big reason why Carson Beck, I think, won the starting quarterback job last year over Brock Vandagriff, over Gunnar Stockton. Just that time in the system, the experience, especially working with Mike Bobo, Stockton in particular, someone who has a long history with Mike Bobo there. Ryan Puglisi could go in and have an incredible spring and really impress. And I still don't know if it's going to be enough to overcome Stockton because, likewise, Stockton is allowed to get better. He's going to get all the number 2 reps. And so with that, I think he's going to continue to get even better. You saw him get a real opportunity in the win over Florida State in the Orange Bowl. And I think Georgia is invested in getting Gunnar Stockton ready in the event that Carson Beck has to miss time due to injury.